Hi everyone, in this video lesson we are going to look at squares, and here are some example of square numbers, and also we're going to look at the squared root, and this is the symbol for a squared root, and this is the square root of 9 solved to give us the answer of 3, but a bit more of that shortly.
Right, well, what is a squared number? Well, any whole number multiplied by itself produces what is called a square number. And an example of that is 5 multiplied by 5 would give you 25. And 5 multiplied by 5 is the same as 5 squared. And therefore 25 is a square number. There are some other square numbers, for example 2 multiplied by 2, that gives us 4. 3 multiplied by 3, that gives us 9. 4 multiplied by 4 gives us 16. So these are all square numbers. And just a reminder that that little 2 up there happens to be what is the symbol for squared numbers, or a square. Alright, what are square roots? Well, square roots of a given number is the number that is multiplied by itself to give you the given number. Now that sounds all very complicated, so let's break it down a little bit further. First of all, the sign for squared root is this. Alright. Also, finding the squared root of a number is the opposite of squaring a number. So for example, if we wanted to find the squared root of 16, we would have to work out what is something multiplied by something, so the same number multiplied by the same number will give me 16. Well, I know my times tables, so I know that 4 multiplied by 4 is going to give me 16. Alright? So therefore, 4 is the square root of 16. Some other common squared roots are the squared root of 4, obviously, is 2. The squared root of 9 is 3. And the square root of 25 is 5. Alright, time for you to do some work. Evaluate 6 squared, work it in there, and also what is the squared root of 64? Give me your answer over there. When you're ready, come back. Okay, how'd we go? Well, let's have a look at 6 squared first. Well, 6 squared is the same as 6 by 6. Yeah, so 6 by 6 is 36. Well done. And what about this one over here, the squared root of 64? So my immediate question to myself over here is, what multiplied by itself is going to give me 64? And I know my times tables. I know that 8 eighths are 64, therefore 8 is the squared root of 64. Alright, have a go at this one. 3 squared minus the square root of 9, add 1 squared. Work that one out for me. Put the video on pause and come back when you're ready. Alright, don't forget that in BIMDAS we have squared roots, the indices. These are indices. Squares and squared roots are indices. So in BIMDAS they're very important, so they get done pretty much straight after brackets. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to work out what 3 squared is. Well, 3 times 3 happens to be 9. Subtract. What is the square root of 9? So I'm saying what times what is going to give me 9. So what number multiplied by the same number is going to give me 9? Well, that happens to be 3. And what is 1 squared? So 1 squared is 1 times 1. What is 1 times 1? 1 times 1 is 1. So add 1. So to solve this problem, I'm simply going to say, what is 9? Take 3, add 1, and that gives me the answer of 7. Okay, well that's the end of squares and square roots.